Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today we're going to talk about my crazy X. Well, after a fashion. This is Roshin Meander, and she taps for 4 mana 4/4, taps for 4 colorless that can only be spent on cost for X. Yeah, so naturally, I went full-blown X spells, or X things, rather. But first, before we show the X's, we got to have some mana, because if we're going to play a ton of things with X in the cost, we want to make X as big as possible. Now, there's a lot that, like Banefire, I've just realized I don't have a Banefire. Banefire would be awesome, but I made two. See what we got. First off, we got the good old-fashioned ramp. Sol Ring. Sol Ring and Wildfire Border Post. Now, the reason why the Border Post is in there is we are using some, quite a bit of basics, but in my mind, this is holding a place. Probably for the... Oh, shoot. What's the new cycle? Not a Signet, not a Key Rune, not a... Y'all know what I'm talking about. The Saxon draws 2 cards, because we are really, really weak on drawing cards in this deck. Like, almost no card draw. Hey, I didn't say the Crazy X was good. And then our last artifact is Astral Cornucopia, because, Triple X. This is the only Vin Diesel card, in the game of Magic. And then we've got good old-fashioned just land searching. Of course, Rampant Growth, Harrow, Cultivate, Nature's Lore, Kodama's Reach, Ranger's Path, Skyshroud Claim, Explosive Vegetation. Now, why is it climbing like that? I've got these 2 creatures listed as mana ramp because it's Seedborn Muse. We'll get to why. Yeah, Seedborn Muse gives you the mana essentially on other people's turns. So you're only going to use that on abilities and instants. But we'll get to her why she's... Well, I don't have to tell you why she's so good. She's amazing. But she's really good coupled with the Magus, because you're going to use the Magus on your turn to untap all your junk, and then you're going to use the Magus on their turn to untap all your junk. Yeah. Then we have mana doublers. Mana Flare, the green Mana Flare, Double Meat, Double Cheese, Dictative Karametra, and Zendikar Resurgent. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, there's some card draw. We ain't got a whole lot of dudes. Anyway, let's go back to Roshin. And I'm sure everybody is familiar with the Mage Right Stone, because it's kind of a straightforward card. We're going to... Yes, we can't use the mana from Roshin to untap her. We got to have another land. Ooh. But this is a case of 1 gets you 4. Now, in Still Energy, for our purposes, we're using the same way. Green enchantment, you put on Roshin, you tap her for 4, untap her, tap her for 4 again. And then Alliances gave us a way more convoluted version in Nature's Chosen. Yes, it does the same thing. It also has a second ability that I've been playing with this card since Alliances, and I've never used the second ability. Never. Now that I say that, I'm probably going to have to read it and use it, because something will happen. Tap enchanted creature to untap target artifact, creature, or land. Huh. I guess if I had like a big mana land. But there again, I don't think there's enough creatures in this deck to justify big mana lands. Speaking of creatures, let's look at our liked creatures. I guess first we'll do the X creatures. One of the very first ones was Crackling, and I know there's so much better stuff. I love the regeneration. I explained that a million times before. We got Endless One, because, however big you need him to be. Feral Hydra, Ivy Elemental. You can tell what they were doing. They were trying to find, in early Magic, they were trying to find the right version, the version that people would actually play. Protean Hydra. Now we get into some of the Hydras, Vastwood Hydra, Genesis Hydra. I know that's an incredibly cheap promo, but man, it's beautiful. Now, I consider these two creatures Gelatinous Genesis, because, wow. Let's look at 4, since she taps for 4. If this was 4 green, we got 9 mana tied up in it. We get 4 4/4s. 9 mana. This is definitely one of those cards. The more mana you seek into it, the better you feel until somebody casts Mana Leak. But anyway. Wormcalling. I got no words. A buyback Expel. Sure. Why not? Actually, this buyback Expel is way better than the... we got a buyback Fireball thing way back, and it was terrible. Well, it was very specific. We're not running it. Now I've got creatures that are not X creatures, but they have an X activation. Like the spider here. He's gonna do all the flyers. Now, I love this little pair from Kamigawa, because Arashi, it just shoots a target creature with flying. Now, here again, y'all remember Seedborn Muse? Yeah. It just shoots a creature with flying. In case there's not creatures with flying, Jawari just shoots creatures that don't have flying. Mana tap. And of course, we have the Mox Monkey. Everybody's got artifacts. We all play them. We all love them. The Mox Monkey takes advantage of that. And then last creature we have, of course, Flame Blast Dragon. That has an X activation removal. Now, I have two what I'm going to call combat tricks. Outmaneuver is pretty neat. If your power is greater than or equal to their life total, and you've got outmaneuver, you win. Or, well, provided you guys aren't sick, there's no fog. But anyway, blocking doesn't help them. Yeah. Balduvian Rage. Y'all know I'm constantly looking for ways to work in Cold Snap cards. I love Snow. I wish they would do the snow correctly. I want them to give the modern design treatment to the snow-covered mechanic and get us a plane that's snow-dedicated and have real snow themes. Because the old themes were you had a little bit of snow and a lot of stuff that hurt snow. Anyway, this ain't even snow. I don't know why I'm off on that tangent. Balduvian Rage. And yes, Danny, I know I'm the only person that cares about snow. At least it doesn't kill the creature. Now, I do like the fact that it's target attacking creature and not you control, so you can influence combat you're not involved in. And, it draws you a card at the beginning of the next upkeep, because that's how they did it back then. It's weird. Let's look at X spells. All of these fall under removal. Albeit player removal, creature removal, or in cases like Detonate, artifact removal. I think Detonate's the only one. Now, I'm going to go through these pretty quick. They all are real close to doing the same thing. Raider Claws. Rock Slide. Now, Rock Slide is an instant. That's the beautiful part about Rock Slide, is the instant speed ability. Molten Disaster. I like Savage Twister. I've always liked Savage Twister. It's a good one. We're filling the box up, so it's one of the newer cards I put in was, of course, Jaya's Immolating Inferno. I elected not to put in the green one for the same reason why I don't have like Genesis Wave in here. I don't have Genesis Wave because there's more non-permanents, I think, than permanents, or it's real close. We would lose a bunch, and I don't want to just dump all this into the graveyard. Those cards are good with high permanent counts. Windstorm, Meteor Blast, Volcanic Geyser, Rolling Thunder. I mean, this is I don't understand how things are going to live against this deck. Bonfire of the Damned. Good old-fashioned Disintegrate, because, you know, exile it. Why not? Magma Quake. Fault Line. Fault Line's an instant. Do you believe that? Of course you don't believe it, because you can't read it right now. Fault Line. X damage to each creature without flying in each player. For one more mana, you get an instant Earthquake. Wow. And I love the name, the flavor take on it. You know, instead, it's not an Earthquake, it's a Fault Line. Of course, Comet Storm, I mean, wouldn't be complete without the Fireball Hurricane boys. Now, Burn From Within, I think Burn From Within, I don't like totally keep up with the big formats, but I guess I do. We have the biggest deck there is. Anyway, I think this has actually done something somewhere, but I love the ability to take away the indestructible, because, you know, that's a good thing. Certain things are just going to steamroll this deck, like decks with Hexproof, decks with Shroud, decks with Counter Magic, decks with a well-thought-out plan. All those things are just detrimental to this deck. Anyway, now let's look at Artifact. Well, here's a random card first. Gaia's Blessing, I've got in there for flavor reasons, but it's not the flavor reason you're thinking of. Yes, sometimes you get milled and it's bad, and it's one of those things that nobody's really prepared for. It does say draw a card, but Gaia's Blessing is in there because your crazy ex is always worried about that one thing that happened to him one time, and so that's always in the back of their mind. Like that one time I got milled out, and now I run a Gaia's Blessing. Anyway. Oh, here's an Expel card. I'll admit, probably the only reason why Stream of Life is in here is because I had a beta. Now, granted, it's a beta that's seen some love. I wonder how many millions of lives this particular stream has gained. Anyway, we have. Let's start way back in the dark. This was our first like crazy redirection spell. This was before deflection. Now X, where X is twice the casting cost of the spell. I guess they were thinking back then, because back then the spells were really good, the creatures were not. I mean, what are they talking about? 2 mana to redirect a lightning bolt? Eh. Either way. We have, let's see. I guess next chronologically would be Riptide Replicator. Now, this is a really good proliferating kind of card, because it just gets better over time. Now, in this deck, it's whatever you set it at, but we're trying to generate big mana. So if you can get this Joker on, 6 or 7, which at 6, that's a 10 mana spell. Which that's, if we're tapping Roshin, then odds are we have the 4 mana out to cast the Roshin, because, we had to somehow. So we've got 4 from Roshin and 4 from the lands that we use to cast Roshin. And that's if we're dropping this on turn 5. And that gives us 8. We probably play the land, so that's 9. We've got 5. I don't know that I've ever played this, and if we've got any kind of untapped shenanigans, it just gets better from there. Sigil of Distinction. It kind of makes it to where Roshin can totally be a win con in like commander damage. Because, Sands of Delirium. Here again, if you just know your Gaea's Cradle is there, I guess you could do weird things with it. It's not like we have a top or something, but I guess maybe game effects could tell you. I don't know. I'm reaching here. It's got X in the cost. That's why it's in there. And then Wet Wheel. Double X. It's got Morph. If you just got to have a 2/2 blocker. Okay, now let's look at our non-basic lands. And we got all tilted, like people do when they talk about their X. Okay, we're going to go through the color stuff first. The Transguild Promenade, the Rupture Spire, roughly the same card. We got a new Gate version, but I don't have a lot of those yet, so I hadn't put that in here. Evolving Wilds. The typical suite of the Guildgate, the Turf, the Timbergore. Hey, you know what? Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Okay. Yes, I play with a lot of the common and the uncommon dual lands. I know there are way better versions. I know that there are pain lands, dual lands, fetches, shocks. Those are all good. And there's a million other versions out there. I love that we have so many options for EDH. I love that so many of the options are cheap. These are plentiful. They print them all the time. I draw a lot of criticism for not running all of the expensive money lands. I'm not a competitive EDH player. I play to have fun. And I use the cards I have. And quite frankly, I don't know that anybody's got this many duels for all that. So, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Anyway, Shivan Oasis, Mossfire Valley. Here again, Mossfire Valley fits the theme. That's crazy. There's so many things better. But you choose to do this. I don't know. And then we have cycling lands, of course, the Cave, Crater, the 2 deserts, and the one card we are not supposed to play. Temple of False God. It's a 2-color deck. It's not 3. The colorless part really hurts in a 3+ color deck, but I feel like with as much land searching as we have, and yeah, the argument goes, if this is the only land in your hand, then it sucks. Well, you just mulligan that junk away. It's worth 1. If it's the only land in your hand, odds are if that was any other land in the world, you would still mulligan that hand. I'm not trying to defend Temple of False God in total. It does suck in some decks, but I think in this deck where we're trying to generate mana faster, getting that 1 mana boost is way better, and it don't carry the price tag that Ancient Tomb does. Anyway, that's what I have got for the Crazy X. I do appreciate you watching. Y'all let me know what you think. I think right now we are, what is this? Oh, Halloween was yesterday, so because I do odd number days, this is back to back with the other one. I'm actually recording this on Halloween morning, so I recorded it yesterday morning. So here's a double dip for November 1. I appreciate you watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, I think we're going to shuffle and cut.